Hey Lions, this is Jimmy, your Cub Master. We're going to be going over one of your requirements, which is to speak to someone who works in the community. So I'm a paramedic and firefighter, and your den leader asked you to, if you had any questions, to submit them to him so that I could answer those questions for you. Since we can't be in person, I'm going to make this video really quick to answer some of those questions and then show you a couple of things that I use that you guys don't usually get to see. So to get to your questions first, I had three questions that were asked. The first one is, there always smoke with fire? To answer that, for the most part, yes. Smoke is just the unburned stuff that happens as a result of products burning. The problem with that is it can still catch fire. So, and that's a really dangerous situation because for the most part, it looks like it's the fire's out, but if there's enough of it and it gets hot enough, that smoke can create an explosion. So that's super dangerous. And there's different kinds of smoke and all that stuff that helps us kind of know what's going on. So when we see smoke, if the smoke in a house is kind of got a brownish tan color to it, that usually means it's into the structure, meaning it's not just burning the clothes on the ground, it's actually burning the wood of the house. So that's not a great sign. If the smoke is really black, that's a lot of times a lot of petroleum products, which a lot of plastics, which are most of the stuff in your house, um, which is not good to breathe either, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the actual house is burning. And then the way that smoke acts is also something that we pay close attention to, whether it's just kind of floating out or if it looks angry and it's rolling, almost looks like it's water boiling. That's really dangerous for us. And then what we like to see, the smoke we like to see is white smoke. Generally, that means that we're putting the fire out. That's the steam that's created from putting fire out. So that's usually what we want to see. Most of the time, you will see some smoke with every fire, just because it's difficult to burn everything that happens. The second question, what trucks do they bring to every fire? So it's different for every place that if you live in a certain place, the township that responds to you. For us, for every fire, Columbus sends 3 engines, 2 ladders, a medic, a rescue, a battalion chief, and maybe somebody else too. And that's just to see if it is a fire, because if there's a real fire, there's so much work to be done. So what, and that's only to check to see if it's a fire. If we decide, yes, this is definitely a fire, it's not just somebody prank calling us, then they send 2 more engines and another ladder and another something else. So there's a lot of vehicles that show up if your house is really on fire. And there's a ton of people, a ton of trucks. The engines carry all the hose and the water. They're the ones that actually put the fire out. The ladders do a lot of things with rescuing. Putting ladders up is a big deal. If they need to cut a hole in your roof to let all that nasty, dangerous smoke and heat out, the rescues also help with rescuing people if you're trapped. They will go around and turn off all the the gas and the electric and that kind of stuff to your house to keep us safe. And then your medic and all that stuff to help people that actually get hurt or get burned. So there's a lot of people that respond to that. So if there's a real working fire in the place where you live, you're going to have a lot of trucks show up. Your street's going to be closed down. We don't want people driving over the hose and putting us in real danger. So it's a big deal for a real fire. The last question that you guys showed is, why do firefighters wear the outfit when they fight fires? So the outfit you're probably referring to is like our big heavy coat and our big pants with the big pockets and suspenders. And we wear a hood that covers pretty much all of our skin on our head. And we have a mask and a helmet too. And that does several things. First, those are designed to, first and foremost, protect us from the heat of a fire. That's the biggest thing we're worried about. It gets super hot and it's real easy to get burned. It also kind of helps us from a little bit of the water. When we're spraying water in there, all that water either turns to steam or comes back down. So we don't want to get too wet. So that kind of helps with us not getting steam burns. And additionally, there's the outer layer that you guys see. is to help with call it cut resistant. So when things are falling, if the ceiling falls on us, or we get our arm snagged on something, it kind of prevents our sleeves from getting cut up and us getting really hurt that way. If glass falls from a window, it's supposed to protect us from that, as opposed to just a regular coat or a long sleeve T-shirt where glass will just cut right through that and slice you open. So those are the big things of why we wear those. The coats are longer than they go down a little ways to really protect us if we have to bend and move, that the coat doesn't ride up. If you get a big guy with a really small coat, his back and belly can be exposed. We wear steel toe boots with really thick soles, so we don't, if we step on a nail, it's not going to go through, it's not going to hurt us, things don't fall on our toes and hurt us. Obviously the mask and the air pack allow us to breathe while we're working in the fire, so we're not breathing that smoke in. So one of the tools I'll show you is my helmet. There's several different styles of helmets. They're all relatively do the same thing. They're pretty heavy. This is not a real leather helmet. It's a real helmet. It's just not made of leather that you guys are used to knowing what leather is. But it's hard, which protects us from things falling on our heads. It's got a little slope in the back here. So this is the back of the helmet. This is the front. The back of the helmet has a little slope, if you can see that, and that's for when we're working and we're spraying water and the water's coming down. It doesn't just roll off into the back of our neck. So if I put this on, it kind of pushes the water back off of my coat, so I'm not getting hot water into my coat. We have these little things. They're called Borks. It's a really silly name. They're supposed to flip down. It's supposed to be for eye protection. We don't use them in fires. We have our mask. That's what that's for. And they get really scratched up, and they also get if they get really hot and get burned, they melt and kind of curl up. I don't like the design of it, but it is what it is. You can see on here. This tells us I'm with the Columbus Fire Department, and I work on engine 4. Now that we know it's an engine because my tag is green, and then it's got a 4 on it. So Columbus does engines. If you work on an engine, which puts the fire out, their tag is green. Rescues have blue, and then whatever station you're working at. Ladders have red, and then whatever station you're working at. That way, the chief and everybody that's on scene that's in the fire department knows where you belong. So if you kind of get separated, oh, I saw that the rest of your guys are over here. I don't need to know who you are because it's really hard to see. But if I can see this, I kind of have an idea of where you're supposed to be. This is just my name. These tetrahedrons are supposed to, they don't glow in the dark, but they're supposed to be reflective. I'm not sure that they really work, but anyways, it is what it is. So, and then I've kind of designed, I've got some random stickers kind of on them. These two things in the back here, these are just kind of, we call them door chalks, where you can open up a door and then shove this into the hinge of the door to keep it from closing on us, which is really dangerous when we're trying to pull a hose through. So that's pretty much the helmet. You can kind of see the inside. I've also got these flaps, which also protect our neck. And then we have the strap to keep the helmet on. That's kind of what it looks like. I also, which a lot of guys also carry, a flashlight. That's really bright. So we carry a flashlight so that in that dark smoke, hopefully we can see something. So that's what we have that for, and it's kind of it fits so that when I turn it on, it's kind of pointing in the direction that I'm going, anyways. So the other piece of equipment that I'm going to show you today is our biggest concern right now, and it's a mask. You see a lot of people wearing these respirator masks or masks like you would see at a hospital to protect them from spreading germs, right? So this kind of does a little bit different. This is a special one. It's got these filters on the end that come off, and we can replace these. And what these do is when we put these on, this is not for a fire. This is only for when we're talking to sick people. So I can put this on, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. but this seals all the way around here, so no gross air or germs are getting in. And that's what this filter does. This filter allows me to breathe in without breathing in any germs. That's the idea of this. So it's not so much me spreading my germs out, it's keeping everything right here and not allowing any germs from anybody else to get in. So again, that's not for a fire. This is just for when we're taking care of sick people, especially with the virus we have going around right now. These are not for public use. I don't give these out. I don't let anybody else use this. This is for me and me only. So that's kind of the two big pieces of equipment that we use, especially this mask right now is our big safety net. So I've answered the questions that I was given. You guys can always ask me any more questions if you want. You can email me. Just make sure that your parents are also aware of the email and on the email. There needs to be 2 adults on every communication. Or ask your den leader to ask me. I'll be happy to do another video. Whatever you guys got. So I'm actually on duty today. Otherwise, I'd have given you guys the full gear and all that stuff and let you guys see that. But I've already been in it several times, and it gets kind of hot and sweaty, and I need to have it ready in case we get another run. So I didn't want to break it all down for you and then get caught if we actually get a fire. So if you got any questions, please feel free to reach out to your den leader or reach out to me, and I'll be happy to answer them. Good luck, guys.